Hello, and welcome ladies and gentlemen to a BlazeCasting presentation, bringing you guys a game between Team Smiley Face and Hello This Is Dog as their current iteration. They have been recently sponsored by an organization with the acronym of NTL. Not sure what that is, but it's GX Slim and Maestro's team, and we'll have to see if they have what it takes to bring down Team Smiley Face, who performed extremely effectively in last game, especially Oathkeeper on that middle lane as Rubik. But the draft going on extremely quickly now that they have the kinks worked out. We had a quick remake, but now going on through, wow, we have Darkseer and Magnus banned out on the Dire Team Smiley Face specifically. Templar Assassin Bounty Hunter picked up as kind of an assassination cleave, where Templar Assassin will be going up on the middle lane with Bounty Hunter on the off lane, getting a lot of experience trying to go for that track and trying to go for some early high pressure kills. Stacking a little bit of negative armor effects will be really good in synergy, but they are going to be going up against a Jakiro Gyrocopter Sven lineup, as Hello This Is Dog opted to ban out the Undying and the Bat Rider, and instead going for the Jakiro, Gyrocopter, and Sven. So really powerful AoE, but it's a little bit weird in my mind to see both of these in the same team. Gyrocopter and Sven together, really powerful heroes in of their own right. I mean, you put a Divine Rapier on that Gyrocopter, he's just going to two-shot the entire enemy team. But they're both AoE carries that rely a little bit on the enemy being disabled or grouped up, and along those lines, they don't really do that for one another as effectively. So, a little bit weird that they were both picked up, but that's how it's going to play out. So, definitely a late game oriented team with Gyrocopter having a really good agi scaling, as well as all of his abilities, doing really good up to level 16. But Sven, of course, being just a monster truck of cleave, once he gets some real strength items rolling, maybe a Mask of Madness BKB type thing. But one way or another, Team Smiley Face answers back with the Faceless Void, one of the best anti-carries in the game. Just pop off that Chronosphere, you catch him out, he's going to be disabled, and try to take him down before he gets the opportunity to do anything in return. But wisely banning out the Rubik, Hello This Is Dog has decided to take that off the board so that Oathkeeper doesn't have that option. Instead, maybe Oathkeeper may pick up the Templar Assassin, but they also didn't want to have to worry about Rubik as a supportive hero, as well as stealing the Stormbolt, Ice Path, things along those lines. So, thank you. What? Okay. Well, yeah, my camera is a little bit offset compared to my monitor setup. It's a little weird, but anyways, going on with that, the bans will be forthcoming for Team Smiley Face in just a moment's time, but I really do think that the Jakiro Sven is a very powerful lane in general, so it's going to be difficult for them to deal with. Even if they offer a jungler, I'm not sure, but most likely it's going to be Gyrocopter in that mid lane. A Gyrocopter in general has a huge advantage 1v1 in any situation, because that homing missile isn't going to be knocked down by allied auto attacks. It's going to be dropped down by either the tower, by them retreating extensively, or not at all. However, Templar Assassin with that refraction is one of the few heroes that has a chance to avoid all that massive amount of damage, along with that Windrunner getting banned out. Just one of those interesting offlane heroes. The Hello This Is Dog Radiant team does not have any real offlane type heroes, and with the Bounty Hunter picked up, the Darkseer banned out, and now the Windrunner, it's going to be hard for them to come up with something. Maybe for the Puck ban. This Puck is also a really powerful suicide laner, but who knows. One way or another, the Enigma and the Keeper of the Light have been picked off for the Radiant bans, so that's not going to be an option to synergize with those specifically. Faceless Void and Keeper of the Light not necessarily going hand in hand, but obviously Team Smiley Face is going to be looking for a lane support, so that's really going to be what's your option. I look fast in different direction, feels irritating. Okay, keep that in mind. Maybe reconsider my positioning of my camera with respect to the draft and things along those lines, as that's pretty much all that I use my camera for anymore. I used to have it on between games, but I've kind of realized that was a bit pointless. Anyways, going on into the game, Tide Hunter has been banned out, and I think that was a really good pickup as well. The fact of the matter is Tide Hunter can survive pretty well on the offlane. He's no Magnus in the sense that he doesn't really have a leap escape mechanism, but he's very durable, and he can definitely hold his own. So they didn't want that to be an option, especially with the fact that Gyrocopter does so well with that Ravage. Flat Cannon plus Ravage equals a bunch of dead enemy heroes. So that's going to be what they're looking at there. And moving on forward, we'll have to see what they have for the last bit. You know what, screw it. Based on that, I'm going to actually try to move my camera around and see if there's a better angle that I can work with here now. I have a couple other factors I have to deal with, but in general, if it works better for you guys, then I don't want it to screw up my presentation. So, taking a bit, guinea pigging you guys a little bit, so we can see what we can work with here, but I'm flexible. So if I can do this where I can look at the screen and look at the camera relatively, wow, I'm messing that up, relatively synonymously, then that'll be awesome. So I'll do that. And now it runs my posters. There we go. Okay, so we'll do this, and hopefully that's something similar to what I'm looking at. I'm a little bit off angle now. Bam. Okay. How does that work out for you, Rolls? Anyways, hopefully that works. As we had a little bit of time between the picks here, it looks like Hello, This Is Dog wasn't exactly sure. They definitely wanted one of the heroes that were banned out there, and with none of them available, it's kind of hard to decide what they want to pick up. But there are still going to be options. I mean, there's so many heroes in Dota that there's a lot of varieties of options that they can work with here. But they're going to go with the Lina, which is a little bit weird. The tri-lane last game, iDota Gaming actually picked up a Sven Jakiro Lina tri-lane, and that was beneficial. But they actually got shut down pretty hard based on just the better positioning. I wouldn't say 100% shut them down, but Sven wasn't safe to farm. They couldn't control the creep equilibrium because it took like 4 minutes straight before they could actually sentry out the observer ward, and with that they weren't able to do much stacking pulling whatsoever, so they couldn't control the creep equilibrium of the lane. Sven got very, very, very little farm, and from there, the fact of the matter is, like I said, Oathkeeper destroyed middle lane, and that allowed them to jump in. But really interesting picks coming up. The Shadow Demon to go for has the lane support for Faceless Void. Not exactly sure how to feel about that. I mean, it's just a good support, and they might be looking for a dual lane with a jungler, but we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Broodmother has been picked up, and that definitely throws a wrench in the works. I haven't seen a Broodmother in a long time. Definitely haven't seen that scary face, as that has only been recently implemented. But Broodmother, despite a new visage for of terror to, I'm just making words up. Anyways, she's going to be interesting. She's going to add a lot of push potential, aggression in that lines. She's very, very survivable. I was talking about them needing an off-lane hero to go up against whatever they're dealing with here. People's Champ picking up the Broodmother means that she actually will be able to survive very effectively in those webs, staying mobile, staying invisible, and trying to survive as best as possible. And the second they let up pressure in the lane, maybe support roams to gank mid, the second that happens, she either gets a kill or puts a lot of pressure on the tower. And so we're going to have to watch for that specifically. But going on through, I love that banner. That's actually a really good banner. Team Smiley Face. Woo! Anyways, GG, good luck, have fun, called out by everybody as we get on into the game here. But again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry about the camera mishaps. I was just trying to find a better option so that you guys could appreciate things better. But now I'm going to move things a little bit to make sure my microphone is appropriate, because that's probably one of the more important things for a caster. So getting my microphone set up as before, and then going from there. So what we have here is all 5, or just 4 of them, going up on the top. We have Robot going Suicide Lane on the Bounty Hunter, rather predictably, but we're going to be seeing a defensive tri-lane with Fate, Pickles, and presumably Sauce. But I have to say, I've mentioned this in a couple other series for people who love to pick up Bounty Hunter, or sorry, the Omni Knight in a tri-lane. He doesn't really add that much more to it. He's very defensive by nature. I mean, his Purification and Repel can really add some great potential to keep Faceless Void alive and kicking, but as far as bringing down this Broodmother, it might be more difficult. They're going to have to do some early Sentry Ward action from Pickles, and he's going to have to get some really, really nice disruptions on out, but I don't think that the lack of stun or really dedicated slow from the Omni Knight is going to do too much for them in trying to bring her down. And with that in mind, it might be better for Soft just to look at a different lane, because, I don't know, it's just weird. And it looks like he's actually handing the wards to bottom lane, as they know they're not going to be going 3v3. If they were going for 3v3, they would want a ward maybe in this position here to give some south vision to see exactly the position of the enemy supports, but right here, they know it'll be better used for Bounty Hunter trying to block off the pulls here. Speaking of which, those that will be pulling is the Jakiro picked up by T, and Knave picking up the Sven going down on bottom lane. The Stout Shield may be unnecessary. They might have thought that there was going to be some aggression out there, but it will hinder his farm by about 250. He's not really going to be making too much use from that, as far as I can tell. But it looks like Gyrocopter wants to go for an extremely fast bottle. GX Slim, only 3 branches, and only 70 gold away from that bottle, so he's going to be looking for a couple last hits to try to get that early rune control going on through, and that's what they're going to be looking for. Nice support from Maestro, putting some observer wards up, knows exactly what Oathkeeper is going to be doing, and that'll be a little bit better for GX Slim to really know what they want to be doing out of that. Sentry Ward's going on out, Sauce trying to do a little bit of extra damage, but again, no real lockdown. It's just going to be a little bit of harassment, which he will regen up over time as the webs provide that benefit. So some people might not know Broodmother, as she hasn't been picked up in quite a long time, but she is one of those heroes that is such a pain to deal with, as she can put out a lot of pressure the second you leave her alone. She can get that Orchid farmed up pretty quickly, she can knock down a tower or two, and she just really, really destroys the lane, even though her spiders are a little bit higher bounty, since 6.75 not a big deal. Regen Aura picked up for, again, a little bit more harassment and mobility control, as they will be able to negate some of that movement boost that the webs provide. An interesting usage of Rocket Barrage, but he has plenty of mana to spare with that bottle picked up, and doesn't want to have to pull behind the tower, as that's just really, really awkward. In the meantime, Oathkeeper missing out on a bit of experience, and I think that's because of this easy camp pulling. They are going to be utilizing that to its fullest. Maestro stacking up the hard camp and pulling the easy camp, and doing her best to make it just really, really difficult for Templar Assassin to fight up against that. It's really difficult to control that, as this is one of the few locations that you can actually pull from that's extremely safe and not a big deal. So she will actually didn't even refraction it. It's low damage with rank 1. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but nevertheless, just watching this pull here, it's stacked up on the easy camp, pulling over the easy camp. As soon as the easy camp is about to be wiped out, she'll just come on here and pull that north as well. It'll work out extremely well, where the experience flow for the Templar Assassin is extremely hindered. She won't be able to get her traps up to control runes and a lot of other factors there. Now Soth, trying to control Broodmother, actually getting dropped down rapidly by herself, actually not doing a little bit of nice bait, using that purification, but he's still on pretty low life. Bait comes in with that Time Walk, looking for the disruption on the Sentry Ward, but I don't know if it'll be enough damage. I definitely can't. Yeah, actually it was enough. The bash came on out, and he was actually able to bring him down. Sorry, I didn't call that immediately, but yeah, I was more focused on the fact that Soul Catcher did catch on the creep, because there were so many creeps around, but just enough action from the bashes, and they are actually able to take the Broodmother down, which is really important. If this Broodmother gets up to, like, let's say level 5 by herself, no problem, then she's going to be a huge menace that's almost impossible to D-lane, but getting the kills on her early is exactly what you need to do. And having only exhausted one Sentry Ward thus far, that's actually a really, really good position for top lane to be in. I know that's a 3v1 that I'm talking about, so it seems a little off, but it actually is very, very true. I'm trying to creep jack a little bit. Bounty Hunter does pick off a couple CS, so he's actually only sitting at level 2 himself, but he's doing pretty well with it. Like, he can't disrupt Sven's farm whatsoever, but he's also not really at risk of dying anytime soon, and actually dropping off a ward so that they cannot stack up on this creep camp here. But I wish that Team Smiley Face could say the same about these creeps here, but unfortunately this hard camp getting pulled over and over. Look at the experience per minute on Oathkeeper. It's just so hindered. 187 experience per minute versus GXM's 418. It's such a powerful mechanic right now, where the Templar Assassin gets almost no XP, and with that Gyrocopter is going to have a very, very easy lane. He's going to be looking for the rune. It's going to spawn on the bottom. That's going to be an illusion for him, and with that he's going to be looking for phase boots in no time at all to get his GPM momentum rolling. But all the same, Robot doing pretty good on the bottom, and yeah, I'd say it's pretty much a mirror situation, with the exception of the solo mid. If Faceless Void's going to get his farm, Sven's going to get his farm. That's going to be hardly disrupted. I'm curious to see if Faceless Void will go for a battle build, where he puts a lot of pressure early, or if he's actually going to go for more like a Battle Fury and just farm. But one way or another, I definitely think the advantage goes to Gyrocopter versus the Templar Assassin. Lena's getting some experience from the neutrals too, so can't count her out as well that much, but it's definitely painful. Again, you're looking at Templar Assassin's experience per minute, and she's doing worse than Omni Knight. She's doing worse than support in a tri-lane. I mean, how's that make you feel? Not good whatsoever. It's very, very unfortunate for her, and it's a really, really good thing to do up against the mid if you do have the Radiant lineup. So that's what they're looking at, and it's also very difficult to disrupt, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's that much more. That's why it's there. If I can talk, why it's that much stronger than most pulling situations. Like, you can contest this pull right here if you have 3 people you want to walk on into it, no problem, or even 2. But with this here, it's in such a position guarded by the tier 1 tower that it's hard to do anything about. And Lena just farming up a lot of experience. 1 point in Fiery Soul already, actually, keeping those stacks rolling and getting a lot of farm that way for herself. In the meantime, Gyrocopter has hit level 6 up against a barely level 4 Templar Assassin. Yeah, it's not going to be the same game as last, that's for sure, as Oathbringer is having a very rough time with things. People's Champ looking for a Soul Ring. When he gets that, he'll be able to harass quite a bit more with his Spawn Spiderling ability, but for the time being, he doesn't have the recipe, and he needs the Ring of Regeneration as well. A little bit nice harass, actually caught out of her wedge, does not get that bonus move speed, popping off the Soul Catcher, does not hit the Spiderling, so she will take a lot of damage. With that purification to follow up, she will drop down. Shadow Demon taking the kill for that. That's the second time Broodmother has dropped, and that's the one thing that I would say Team Smiley Face really has going for them, is logging down that Brood early on. Very, very important, but all the while, this lineup has kind of transitioned into a push, as Lena has the potential to do a lot of damage with that attack speed buff, as well as Sven can pop that God Strength if he feels it necessary. Rank 1 Liquid Fire is enough to reduce the attack speed of the tower, and it's going to be relatively convenient for them to put a lot of pressure out here, if not take down the tower in of itself. So Team Smiley Face needs to look at maybe moving to support this. But one thing to keep in mind is if Lena's on bottom, she is not pulling, and with that, Oathkeeper will get some of that precious experience caught up just a bit. So we'll get going on through, but it looks like, yeah, this tower is going to be most likely taking a fall unless they want to try to contest it with the Glyph of Fortification, but it does not look like it. They're going to maybe look for a Bounty Hunter to deny, but I wouldn't recommend it with the amount of stun coming out of the Stormhammer plus the Icy Path. So, yeah, they pop off the Ice Path, so they actually could try to go for a follow-up, but it's too far away. Detection's not going to be what they need to bring it down. A little bit of transition into the mid lane. Shadow Demon popping off a ward to see what's going on here. They kind of get a little bit of vision down in this crevice here, see when Lena is moving to pull, maybe put out a little bit of aggression on that. Otherwise, just keeping tabs up on Gyrocopter, up on the high ground, and from there being able to see what exactly is going to be benefiting him. But, wow, lots of things on the courier. Kind of hard to see what's what, but I think the Soul Ring has been finished for People's Champ, and that's going to help him a lot in the lane as they move on through. But Bounty Hunter in a really weird spot. He's 1v1 up against a Sven, but he has a level disadvantage, and not only that, but the gold advantage to the Radiant right here. Actually might have messed up my starboard. Let me check something real quick. Sorry. That seems very unprofessional. Yeah, sorry, I know that I have that overlapping. I'll get rid of that real quick. Okay. That should be clear. And I'm going to go back to... oh, crap. Okay, so Fate is getting Ice Path right here. He does get hit by the Dual Breath, but with the defense of Shadow Demon, he shouldn't take too much more damage. Taking a lot of damage over time, as a matter of fact. They're trying to block off and degen Aura down on the Spiderling so they cannot bring him down. With Fate with 50 HP, it looks like he will be alright. So, close call, but the net result is that Omni-Knight gets one more kill on the Broodmother. Sorry I missed that, as I was just fixing a little bit of a thing that I should have probably had since the beginning of the game. But one way or another, moving on forward, no longer dwelling on that. It's going to be Sven looking for a BKB relatively quickly. Actually, nice little stun. Stormhammer bring Bounty Hunter really, really low. He will pop off the Shadow Walk, but he will probably have to waste a salve just on that little incursion there. Nevertheless, Oathkeeper pulled back to his tier 2, actually. Just feels like it's the only safe place to farm his creeps for the time being. In the meantime, though, at least Lena's not pulling up on the easy camp, and that way she will be able to get some more experience. But you guys don't want to just see the experience for a minute. You're looking at the last hits. 42 for Sven, doing extremely well as Gyrocopter, sitting at 38 himself, so doing pretty good. And, of course, we already mentioned the gold advantage. Going out from that tower kill is really, really important there. Templar Assassin, she has a liquid fire on her, so that'll burn down Refraction extremely quickly, meaning that this homing missile will actually do a lot of damage. Melds out of it instead, invisibility, preventing that, and so she was able to disjoint that negative aspect of it. Now Bounty Hunter is level 6 or beyond, and has the opportunity to transition to other lanes, put out some pressure, get track up on Broodmother so that they can see her within the webs, and also try to get some bonus gold for her team. But Oathkeeper really needs some support up on the mid lane if he's going to be able to hold this tower. That's very, very important right here. So they're going to be looking for it, but the tower is currently dropping really quickly. They need to pop the glyph, and they need to get some more TPs in here. Right now, Pickles kind of caught out. Oathkeeper looking to go aggressive onto the chair, brings him down really quickly. GX Slim has a lot of damage coming out, pops off the call down, bringing down some damage onto Omni-Knight. He will get slowed up a heck of a lot by this, but with that disruption and the purification, he will take Gyrocopter will be burning down pretty hard himself. Maestro doesn't have anything available just yet. Stormhammer will hit soft and will bring him down though, and that's going to be a kill for Sven, which is really, really important. So for the time being, they have delayed the kill on the tower, but as far as the exchange goes, they did lose their Omni-Knight out of it for pretty much nothing. So but I mean, you can't complain about the kills difference, 4-1 in favor of Team Smiley Face. Looking at Shadow Demon picking up a couple of those, Templar Assassin and Omni-Knight picking up the others. But now they want to continue the pressure on the towers, possibly going to be ranking up Liquid Fire. No, actually going for the Dual Breath. So rank 1 Liquid Fire is what they're kind of relying on to put out a lot of damage pressure here, but it looks like Team Smiley Face is just going to let this one drop. And on the meantime, like I said, if you leave Broodmother for just a moment, she will be able to take down a tower of her own. So she took down the tier 1 up top. And I'm kind of surprised the fortification has not been popped off for Team Smiley Face just yet. So People's Champ putting out pressure on the top lane, the rest of the team putting out pressure on middle. And meanwhile, this very farm-reliant team, the Faceless Void, the Templar Assassin, their time is running out. They generally want to get a big area of like 20 plus minutes to farm and not have to worry about too much action. But right here, he's picked up his Midas, which is great for getting some really golden experience, but he needs to get that cooldown at least 2 or 3 times more if he's going to get some big items coming on out, because as you can see, only treads Midas, not exactly where you want to be at in big team fights. Pickles transitioning down to bottom lane, try to bring down a kill on Sven. If they get the disruption and the soul catcher on him, I doubt that he will be able to get out alive, even with that rank 2 Warcry, because that track movement speed, if they don't group up, the Stormhammer won't do that enough to prevent what's going to happen. In the meantime, though, it looks like Sauce is just trying to counter push and try to make sure that People's Champ can't take another tower for his troubles. In the meantime, here comes a Stormhammer onto Faceless Void. He pops off the Chronosphere. The homing missile unaffected by that. It looks like Faceless Void will get stunned out. Was looking to time walk out. Now he has succeeded, but it's 4v3. They could actually put out some damage here, but no. Too much damage. Pickles on really low life. One hit from death. GX Slim, however, accidentally fell back. No, Stormhammer will finish the trick, so it's going to be one kill for them in favor, and they're just going to fall back from there. But yeah, just so much damage coming out from that rocket barrage. If you're only in range of one person, it just lays on into them. And although they could have been very well kept alive by Omni Knight with his Purification and Guardian Angel, unfortunately he's a little bit occupied with this spider who just doesn't want to quit. Keeps those spiderlings farming up in the jungle. Now that this tier 1 is falling, can put them anywhere in the jungle she wants and keep that momentum rolling. And the second that somebody abandons this tower, or even possibly before that, we'll be able to bring him down. Soft kind of guessing where the Broodmother was in the webs without any detection was kind of a mistake in my mind. Now on bottom lane, looks like there should be some action coming out here. A lot of pressure has been going on to the tier 2 tower. And just a second. So yeah, looks like Bounty Hunter was actually able to bring down the Gyrocopter. A last second call down trying to keep himself alive, but does not work out for him. Disruption goes on down for this target here. Knave is caught out, but nice Laguna Blade to at least bring down the Shadow Demon. Sven does get picked off as well, though he does not does not drop until he gets that killing spree, bringing down that Shadow Demon. But Faceless Void immediately picks up that bonus gold, 331 to him. So actually, I'm going to say that was very favorable for the Dire, bringing down 3 heroes. Bringing down that Gyrocopter gave them a ton of experience, as he is level 9, and actually the Sven is as well. And of course, finishing off that killing spree for the Faceless Void will up his GPM quite a bit, so he's very happy about that. But in the meantime, oh my gosh, this Broodmother just gives me flashbacks to those days where literally you leave her alone for a 1 minute time, and that 1 minute later that tower will be gone and she'll be pushing on the next one. In the meantime, Oathkeeper gets sentryed up, the refraction gets burned down immediately by a barrage, and just caught out of position there. I'm not exactly sure what he thought he was doing without his tower to support him, neither his allies, but nevertheless he did get dropped down. Alright, so answering a couple questions in chat real quick that were a little bit distracting in that last engage, but pretty much, as far as commenting on another channel before, I've commented on like 3 different channels, nothing big, but like Dr. Zealot, his channel, and a couple other people I've co-casted with, but, the It's Gosu for their amateur tournament, that kind of thing, but nothing really substantial, I guess. As far as Liquid Fire, it's not about the damage, it's more so about the debuff. The attack slow, if he had ranked it up, would go to 50% attack slow on that tower. It does affect it, and it does make that tower, it's like a Lego tower. It does very little damage in return. Obviously Lego towers don't do any damage because they're freaking blocks, but that's not the point. Track goes out, and that Disruption and Purge did go on through, but just wasn't enough to bring anybody down. But Jakiro caught out of position. This is what I call extreme warding, except in this case it happens to be without the wards. He put one up onto the Dire Plateau up top. I'll go to that in just a second, but it most likely cost him his life. He's trying to juke on out. Looks for a Ice Path, not going to happen, as there's just too much damage with that plus 80 coming out of the rank 4 refraction. But this is a ward I possibly was talking about, but it's been up for a while, so I'm not exactly sure what Jakiro was doing exactly, but one way or another, he did take a fall. Was in in an inappropriate position, but meanwhile, these two carries pushing up on the bottom tower. So continuous pressure going on out, and GX Slim looking to drop a call down to try to counter push a little bit, and of course he has that flat cannon pop, so he's ready to put out some damage on every single target here. The trap goes on through, though, the disruption, the Soul Catcher looking to bring down Sven. He doesn't have his BKB, but Lena from behind, beautiful light strike array following the yeah, everything about that. Laguna Blade, the Dragon Slave, a low rank 1, plenty of damage going on through, so really nice action from the flank, but they were at least able to pick off the Sven in turn. So Sven for Shadow Demon, favorable indeed, but now Oathkeeper in a really, really poor spot, and will most likely get a drop down here, yeah, with the stun, not able to finish off Maestro, and unfortunately, yeah, that's going to be a 2-for-1 with Shadow Demon TA popping on down. They pop the Fortify to make sure that the Siege Creep can't take it down, and now they will most certainly get that deny. Gyrocopter finishing the job there to deny half the team gold that the tower would have provided. But yeah, going back to a thought that I had a moment before, yeah, 50% reduction on attack speed. It will do a little bit of damage. The 25 per second for 5 seconds, that's 125. It's all right, but it's all about the reduction of the attack speed so that the tower cannot counter-push that much. Creeps stay alive longer, you can get that much more time on the tower to burn it down, effectively doubling the time as long as it's active, which is a 5-second duration with a 5-second cooldown at max rank, so can be a very, very powerful pushing mechanism indeed. Which is bad news for the Team Smiley Face. As you can see, they only have one Tier 2 tower remaining, and Faces Void, although he is happy to have a Midas, which he currently doesn't have on cooldown for some reason, but he is only at the Perseverance. He really wants that Battle Fury as soon as possible, but even then, once he picks up the Battle Fury, what's he going to have to do? He's going to have to farm for 10 more minutes to make up for it in, flash farming creep waves. Actually, that meld was way too early, but it worked out, because he has Refraction. Nevertheless, yeah, having to farm for like almost 10 more minutes just to make up for it, try to flash farm some creep waves, take out some neutral stacks, that kind of thing, and in general, it's just going to be putting him more and more behind. So he has a Midas, he's looking for the Battle Fury, it will give him a lot of GPM, but right now the Radiant have full control of the map, full control of the jungle, and I believe that if they keep this momentum rolling, that it's going to be hard for Smiley Face to take them on. And Repel is nice action, finally getting rank 1 Repel out of Soth, timing that up against the Gyrocopter missile at the very least, and that's very important. But yeah, this is Blaze of BlazeCasting, as you can hopefully see from the symbols in the bottom left and right. But yeah, there is on Neodota's stream, I think Mott is casting another game, not sure exactly what set he's taking care of, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the cast so far. I generally don't cast solo. The next 2 games are going to be casted with my buddy Rainmaker, but he's a little bit under the weather, so he is not casting for us for this time period, as he just said, I'll cast 2 games for you, but I cannot go much further than that. Now, it looks like as a robot actually did catch out Maestro, knows exactly his position, but he is backed up by Jakiro. So now, with enough detection, they are actually able to pick off onto the beautiful Chronosphere coming out. Jakiro is going to get picked off during this, no doubt whatsoever. Track gold for the Faceless Void, killing spree going on through. Now it's trying to bring down Maestro, but on the back end of it, Gyrocopter delivering a lot of hurt with that call down, getting the last hit from the God Strength of Sven, able to bring down the Omni Knight, and now 2 more hits to bring down the Faceless Void. Now looking for Oathkeeper. He has a couple more stacks of Refraction to absorb on through, but really not too much more can be done about that. He will get burned down here. They don't have detection, I don't believe, so they're going to be looking for another Rocket Barrage, but they don't have the mana for it. There's the Light Strike Array. Maestro finishes the job there, and they're going to be able to take the Tier 2 tower. So awesome, awesome fight for Hello, This Is Dog, and now almost picking off the Bounty Hunter, but he just walked outside of vision range. Not sure where the detection lies, but obviously not there. There it is. Sentry Ward up on the high ground was how they were able to see the Templar Assassin and the Bounty Hunter during that. And now Bounty is just trying to pick up a measly little Medallion of Courage just to get a little bit of negative armor rolling with the track and the meld, but unfortunately he can barely afford that. Now he has finally picked it up, but 18 minutes in the game, while Sven is boasting about his Drum of Endurance Mask of Madness combination, it's not really the best option. Along with that, he has decided to max his Warcry this early in the game, which means 16 bonus armor for that 8-second period, sorry. Should be 8, yep. So with that, that's a lot of physical damage mitigation, and so I'm not going to say it's the same as Omni Knight, who makes them practically immune to physical damage, but it definitely helps. Definitely limits how much damage you're dealing outright, even with the meld, track, and medallion coming on out of the Bounty Hunter TA combo. In the meantime, though, they definitely need to bring down these wards. And actually finding a Sentry Ward and an Observer Ward for this trouble. This has been a really big cliff, giving a lot of important vision for both teams during these exchange skirmishes here. But of course, Broodmother still has webs going on through. There's still traps from TA. So one way or another, they're getting some vision. It's just how much and how consistent. But Lena doing a really good job with that, along with the Jakiro. So really good props to them. And with that, they've been allowing their carries to just farm away. To just stay aggressive, put in any position they want to, because they know where the enemy is at all times. Now the counter wards have gone on through, so they're a little bit more wary, but not enough so that it will distract them from this ancient cap. Bringing that down, Gyrocopter and Sven picking up a lot of gold for that. Bringing up Sven's net worth up to 8,000, really big right there. And he's going to be picking up a big item like a BKB in no time at all. So that's going to be allowing him to deliver a lot of hurt. Again, they don't have a grouping mechanism like Darkseer or Magnus, but not necessarily needed if they can get some really powerful AoE coming out of the Gyrocopter ultimate, the Jakiro, the Lena. Just all those combined together, they can get some good stuns out, back to back to back, and really deliver some hurt. Now the smoke comes on in, or the invisibility at least. They want to try to get a stun off Oathkeeper. He will not run through the ice path. He just barely dodges on around it. Disruption comes on out, but Oathkeeper on such low life, the Laguna Blade will finish the job with Maestro giving him a dominating spree. So Jakiro did get caught out, but I honestly don't even think that was the best target to disrupt. Obviously, it was a knee-jerk reaction based on the fact they didn't think they would be coming anyway. But the fact of the matter is, the Ice Path will already used. The Dual Breath wouldn't really make that much of a difference. But it looks like the Buckler is up for Jakiro. He's just looking for that Mechanism recipe in the meantime. Double Oblivion Staff for the Broodmother, so that's going to mean an Orchid in a very short time period, as well as the Yasha to increase her movement speed incrementally. I mean, Phase Boots inside a web with Yasha up, man, that's a fast Brood. Reminds me of like a dozen patches ago when she had like 315 base MS. But anyways, Pickles, just kind of one thing to look at right here for the moment while the storm arises, where they're going to be clashing up against one another over the Roche most likely. But anyways, just looking at the items build up for the different heroes here, Fate has picked up his Battle Fury and his Midas, and that, in the right hands with the right amount of time, is amazing, incredible, unstoppable amount of farm. However, he is in a position where he really can't feel safe just farming away. Along with that, the supports really don't have the money to, support him. There's not that much wards up. There's the Sentry Ward to try to bring down the Broodmother if they try to gank her up. But generally speaking, Pickles is too broke to really be able to buy much more than just what he has right now. Magic Wand, Bracer, some boots. He can pick up wards, but that will set him back from like a Force Staff to the point that he'll be a useless right-click hero for most of the game. I mean, I'm not going to say Shouting's useless Disruption, a very, very powerful ability, as well as that Demonic Purge under the right circumstances. But nevertheless, the fact of the matter is the supports are very, very poor, and with this Mechanism coming up for the Radiant, it's going to give him a lot of momentum in the next team fight. Alright, so going on through, yeah, that Jakiro's going to be looking for that Mechanism recipe. Actually, nope, yeah, still needs it. But the Orchid has finished up on the Brood, and that allows her to do some really, really powerful quick pickoffs. If anybody walks into her webs, they have to be completely aware of her positioning, or they're going to get picked off completely. She just walks right up to him. Orchid, the let's say Omni Knight, and burn him down before the silence expires. The 30% amplification will then take effect, and he'll be dropped down before he can even cast the heal. So that's just one thing that's really good in her kit, is the burst damage coming out of Spawn Spiralings. By the way, that's a freaking Roche that they didn't contest whatsoever. They didn't have wards up, they didn't have vision up, and they were just able to take a free Aegis the Immortal for that Sven. His God Strength will be back up in 1 minute's time, and with that might be the Tier 3 or the Rax, because fighting 6v5 I've heard is pretty good, and with a Sven that already has Crystallis, Mask of Madness, Drum up, I mean, he's fearless right now. He can do whatever he wants in a team fight, and with minimum recompense, unless he gets caught in the Chronosphere perfectly. But right now, Face of Floyd doesn't really have the items to back up his level. I mean, he is a pretty high level 13 being highest on his team, but he doesn't really have, he doesn't have MKB or BKB or Butterfly, or nothing in the progress in that regard. So it's more and more difficult for them as time goes on, unless they can push out of the base a little bit. But right now, I don't think that, I keep on trying to call them NTL, as that will be their future sponsor, but for the time being, hello, this is Dog, HTID. I don't think they're going to let them. I don't think they're going to give them the opportunity to farm, as they want to stay aggressive. And right now, interesting Observer Word placement, but might just do enough. Here's a Soul Catcher on Alina. Gets burst down really hard by Oathkeeper. Now popping off the Guardian Angel. Not exactly sure why. I guess to try to bring down the Gyrocopter, who has popped his Shadow Blade. They had the Sentry Ward for the time being, but now Jixlim out of range of it. Now Pickle's getting burned down really, really quickly. Here comes the call down, trying to bring it. It's going to hit everybody. However, with catching him on the edge of that Chronosphere, as well as Jakiro inside it, that's going to be a 3-for-0 exchange for Team Smiley Face, and that's exactly what they wanted. They want more. They want to try to burn her down. And since there aren't any webs around, they might have actually been able to pursue, based on the fact that she has that Blink Dagger. But they need to defend their bottom lane. The pressure is out on all different directions, and the Team Smiley Face just really needed to group back up together and try to get as much. When generally speaking, when you win a team fight, you try to take advantage of it by pushing out a lane, pushing out a tower, try to get Roche, whatever. But Roshan's down. The creeps are nowhere near the Tier 1 here. Everything else is Tier 2. So they didn't really have the time frame to actually push down onto the towers, and instead they just want to try to farm up as best they can. So that's what Fate's Void is doing. Fate pushing down on the bottom lane has picked up his Mask of Madness, and that is one pickup I do not agree with necessarily. Frankly, there's a lot of damage coming out of Lina, Sven, and Gyrocopter in the first place. But picking up the Faceless Void effectively, although it is great, is probably one of the most cost-effective offensive items. It is also very, very punishing for yourself. It's a double-edged sword in the sense that Mask of Madness increases the damage you receive by 30% while it's active. So if he gets caught out and takes a bunch of damage when he expects he won't be having any, like if he misses a couple of people with the Chronosphere, he can get burned down extremely quickly without a BKB to back it up. Sven, it's kind of a different story. He has the Warcry, later he'll have a BKB, right now he has an Aegis the Immortal. And with that, he's taking a lot less physical damage, and he will later on be immune to magical damage. But with Faceless Void, all he's got to work with is backtrack. And I'm not going to say that the avoidance is unreliable, but I'm going to say that, oh crap, Templar Assassin getting picked off completely by Broodmother, and that's just getting caught out of position. Good sentry action and good flanking. They possibly smoked up for that, but did not catch it. One way or another, though, TA getting picked off right now is not what you want. 40-second death timer, no buyback. This could be an easy opportunity to go very, very aggressive Fate, having to pop Time Walk to get back safely to base. And though he will be able to get mana for Chronosphere by getting mana up while they try to look to push. Yeah, this creep wave is too pushed out for them to really take more from that, but still, 40 seconds not farming on TA is really losing that momentum that you want to maintain. So she's looking for the Blink Dagger, but she's very, very far away from it. Like 2,900 gold, somewhere around that. And with that, it's just going to be harder and harder for them to defend against this. But I'm surprising that Jakiro hasn't bothered farming anything. He probably just could have taken a couple jungle creeps, a couple easy camps, whatever, and picked up that mechanism. But he's just been letting the gold per second do the trick for him, and eventually he'll have that allow him to push out with that. For the time being, it looks like Dire doesn't want to give them that opportunity. They don't want to give them those 200 seconds. They want to push out and be aggressive right now. So that's what they're going to do. They have the smoke up, and they're coming on outside the base. They have a general idea of where the enemy is, but now they're going to know for sure. So the Sentry Ward does come out, and with that, they're going to be looking to flank out behind. Beautiful action from Team Smiley Face. A bit of a surprise, but will the Chronosphere be there? That's the question. There is the Demonic Purge as well as the Soul Catcher and the Disruption having gone out on Broodmother. Laguna Blade popped on the Shadow Demon, GX Slim, everything. This team fight is extremely scattered right now, and that means Omni Knight cannot really pop off his Guardian Angel in more than a couple heroes. So he is getting caught out right now, and with that, the Light Strike Array, he will drop down. So that's 2 heroes drop down, and though Fate does pop up his Mask of Madness, pops off the full set of Chronosphere, he won't be able to bring down anybody in it, and now he's going to take so much damage. Evaporates instantly with that Mask of Madness active, and that's going to be Rax, if not GG. Wow, that was, I mean, it was really, really interesting trying to flank up like that. The Shadow Demon came out and got a nice disruption off to start things off, but the team wasn't really on the same page. They didn't group up where they needed to, even with the mobility of the Templar Assassin and her Blink Dagger just didn't work out for them. And the Faceless Void finally popped off a really nice ultimate, but 2 heroes were already dead, and even so, like I said, the Mask of Madness, if you can't bring down the people during the Chronosphere, it's not going to work for you. Sven pops off the Aegis the Immortal to a couple tower hits, maybe intentional, maybe not, whatever. He's back up in the fray, 4-stabbed in, and now doing so much damage to bring down Shadow Demon. Mega kill streak for him, and he's just delivering so much hurt. Oathkeeper going to possibly drop down as well. Purification not going to do it. Omni Knight trying to run for his life now. Oh my gosh, this is just such domination coming out of Hello, This Is Dog, and they're going to be able to take the Tier 3 tower with no trouble whatsoever. I mean, it's very scattered for Team Smiley Face, and unfortunately, if they drop down here, that is going to be the end of them for this week of the SECS. Fate will not have his ultimate up for 30 more seconds, so he's just going to try to deliver the pain, but oh my gosh, sent right back in the other direction. Sven popping off God's Strength, getting a Daedalus crit up against a Faceless Void with Mask of Madness pop. It's at 1275, and I believe it. Technically that's true damage, but with the 30% amplification received, he just got completely obliterated, and that's going to be complete GG. There's no coming back from that. Faceless Void, no buyback. They can push down the Tier 4 and with no trouble at all. They might fall back just to, you know, not throw away their current set of victory, but in general, that's just nothing going to be coming good out of that. I'm not sure what the People's Champ thinks he's doing. He wants to bring down Pickles, but not going to be successful in that endeavor. Manta Style is available on him, nice pickup, but really it doesn't matter. The items are the heroes. The 2 lanes of racks are down. The routes of farm just aren't available for Team Smiley Face to come back from this. Gold Graph, you see it, it's like 25,000. Exactly 25,000 for the experience advantage, so there's that. And now, I love the 4-staff action, combining Lena, nice Chronosphere coming on through, trying to bring down Knave extremely quickly, and with that Purification, actually manages to do so. Nice action there, and going to be able to bring down Maestro as well, I believe. Now looking for T, and they are going to get him based on the bash, based on the traps. I'm not sure about the Gyrocopter, as he does have Shadow Blade, should be able to juke on out of there. no problem at all. But nevertheless, those 3 kills, really good action, but not going to change the game. Not at this stage. It's going to be far, far too difficult in my mind to come back from it. I mean, he does have the Midas, and Faceless Void is probably one of the hardest carries in the game, but it's just still very, very difficult. 2 sets of Mega Creeps. Yes, 3 died, but that was mostly because I'm going extremely aggressive. I love like I said, I love the Lina 4-staffing in the Sven to be as aggressive as possible, and it did cost them technically, but I don't think it's going to change too much. 1 more racks to go, and that's going to be definite good game. So this tier 3, 1175 HP, and from there, what can you do to defend this? He's going to be looking for an item, possibly from the secret shop. Nope, just looking to see Roche Timer, but fortunately he's got another couple minutes to go. So Fate not going to have the opportunity to solo that. Just going to take some Ancients possibly, but even then he's really overextended. Gyrocopter popping off some illusions. Does he have his Manta style too? Yeah, both of them went Yasha, now both of them have Manta. And with that they can push up on anything just with illusions alone almost. Fate catching out onto Jakiro, finding him, getting a lot of bashes off with that mean attack speed from the Mask of Madness, and with Oathkeeper they should be able to bring him down. Yeah, completely caught out of position there with the fact that the only people that were supporting him were the illusions of his allies, which can't do so much when you get caught out, bashed up like that much. Nevertheless, Faceless Void, level 17, doing with his best. Fate trying to stay in the game, but it's hard to come back. It really is. And with this Roshan coming out in just a minute, the Team Smiley Face has to make a choice. They have to try to contest a fight that they've been losing over and over thus far in a pit that Macropyre just loves to eat on through, along with Stormhammer, Call Down, Light Strike Array. All that stuff is really, really great for contesting Roche engagements. And along with that, their lanes are going to get pushed out all the while. You can already see up on top lane, these creeps just obliterate through the basic ones and can easily push on through the base any minute that they're not there. So Team Smileyface is kind of on a ticking clock right now. They have to do something or they get back to base. They have the choice to defend or go in 4v5. And right now, I don't think either option is what they want to do, but unfortunately it's what they're going to have to do, as these tier 4s taking a lot of damage from siege and everything. So they don't have the fortification for another minute or so, but this tier 4 is already on extremely low life. Lina picking up a Blink Dagger allows her for some extra initiation. The 4-staff has mostly been for Sven, so that allows her to initiate personally. After she 4-staff Sven in, she can blink on top of the Stormhammer, drop down that Light Strike Array follow-up, and Laguna Blade if she so wishes. But in the meantime, actually, wow, what was... Okay, he got caught out. That's really probably the most important kill, and I'm sorry I did miss that, but Fate should not have been farming there, plain and simple, with all 5 missing there, and that's going to be the game. So good game, well played, and that's going to be going on through. It's going to be Hello, This is Dog that advances to round 3, and hopefully I can get my buddy Rain in here to help me out here as I'm not saying my voice is losing it, but it always helps to keep the energy flowing with a secondary person there. So going on through, it's a good game, and we will see NTL, aka HLID, going on through to the next round. So thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed my cast, you can check out my channel. YouTube is .com/BlazeCasting. If you're watching that on YouTube as a VOD, you can check out my stream at twitch.tv/BlazeCasting. But one way or another, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it, and we'll go on to cast a few more of this SECS series. Just 2 more games for the winner's bracket. I'll just kind of do a King of the Hill type style and keep on following on through with the Hello, This is Dog group here and see how far they can progress in the next 2 rounds. But thanks for tuning in. We'll go on to some music and then the next game.